Yo, what is going on, you guys? It is Carter from CBH Sports, and welcome back to a brand new bracketology video. I've been trying to do one of these every um, um, of Friday. I'm pretty busy tonight, so this video is going to be a lot shorter than the ones I normally do. The normal ones I normally do between 25 and 35 minutes. We're going to try and keep this one under 15 minutes, but no promises. I think we're just going to talk the top 16 seeds, the protected seeds, and we'll make some light mentions of the rest of the top 8 and the rest of the bracket overall. As you know, I don't really cover the full bracket until the day of Selection Sunday, but here we go. Make sure that y'all read my weekend my college basketball preview for the games this weekend, and I'm very excited to. I'll be writing another one for next week. So, anyway, the top of the bracket remains the same as it was for me on Monday. I was on Saturday. We learned of the selection committee, the selection committee's top 16 overall seeds. Duke, Michigan, and Arizona were those top 3 overall. Michigan was number 1 overall, but they lost to Duke on Saturday night. So Duke rises. Duke has a huge game Saturday afternoon versus Virginia. Michigan goes to Illinois tonight. That will be a huge matchup. Then UConn hosts Seton Hall. They're my number 4 overall. They rose to take Iowa State's spot after the Cyclones lost of BYU last Saturday. Cyclones are number 5 overall for me. Houston is number 6 overall. Illinois, a win over Michigan, they're number 7 overall for me. If they win, they will be on that 6 overall line because Houston took a loss to Kansas on Monday. So if Illinois wins, because Houston plays the Colorado team that's not in either of the top 2 quadrants, I believe. Purdue took a loss last night to Indiana. They don't play anybody until Sunday. They're on the road in Columbus at Ohio State. So a bunch of bracketologists moved the top 3 seed, my top 3 seed as well, the Florida Gators, to the 2 line. College game day will be in Gainesville tomorrow morning for Arkansas at Florida. The Gators are 13-2 in the SEC. A win versus the Razorbacks would clinch at least a share of the SEC regular season title for them. A loss by Alabama versus Tennessee, which is the game right before Arkansas, Florida, would mean that Florida would or no, I think because both Alabama and Arkansas are 2 games back. So I think either way they clinch a bye. They win or if Alabama loses. So anyway, a win for the Gators moves them up to the 2 line because Arkansas is a quad 1A win. So it's a top half quad 1 win. Nebraska making their West Coast road trip right now. They're at USC on Saturday. A loss would really hurt them with Kansas going to Arizona looking to sweep the Wildcats. The season series against the Wildcats. That'd be hard to do, but if Kansas does it and Nebraska loses, or if they, even if they hold serve against the USC team that is on the wrong side of the bubble, they could fall as a result of Kansas winning. The final team I have on the 3 line is Gonzaga. They play their final game as a part of the West Coast Conference in regular season action against rival St. Mary's on the road on Saturday night. That will be a fantastic game. The winner of that game will win the West Coast Conference regular season title. That will be a huge game. If Gonzaga wins it, to me, there's no matter what happens next week at the West Coast Conference tournament, they will be a top 4 seed in March Madness, depending on what happens around them with a week of regular season play left in the Power 5. For the 4 lines, 4 seed line, Michigan State moved up after going to Purdue and defeating the Boilermakers. They can move up. Again, if Gonzaga loses to St. Mary's and Michigan State goes to Indiana and wins, there's a chance they can move up. Texas Tech falls back as just a result of Michigan State's win. But again, if Texas Tech goes to Ames and beats Iowa State without JT Toppin, then you're looking at a Texas Tech team that can move up as well with one of the best resumes in the entire country. They have wins over Houston and Duke. And then Virginia, huge chance to improve their resume, and they are just a game back of Duke in the ACC. A win over the Blue Devils would mean huge things for their resume. They can move up to a 3 seed with that win. Alabama closes out the top 4 seed lines after they dominated Mississippi State on in the midweek. They shot 22 of 50 from 3 point range. They go to Knoxville looking to avenge avenge a loss to the Vols in Tuscaloosa from about a month ago. Arkansas, they go to Gainesville tomorrow. They're the top 5 seed. They're the first team out of the protected mix. A loss would move them down just a little bit, but it wouldn't be bad if Tennessee wins against Alabama. Of course, I think Tennessee would vault into the top 4 seeds as well. So Tennessee's been number 18 overall. They did lose to Missouri. Not a bad loss, but Arkansas just beat them. On last Saturday. Arkansas will have another matchup versus the Tigers a week from tomorrow. So, and then Vanderbilt, they go to Kentucky, looking to sweep the Wildcats. So a lot going on in the SEC. The final 5 seed for me, just by an inch, is St. John's, who got blown out by Big East rival UConn. It was rough. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They only made a single field goal in the second half. So, North Carolina win on Saturday. They move up. To me, St. John's goes to Villanova and loses. They're going to fall down a few spots. North Carolina, who beat Louisville on Monday night. There's some space kind of between North Carolina, St. John's, and the rest of that 6 line, with Louisville, BYU, who got blown out by UCF on Tuesday night. Wisconsin, who lost to a 10-18 Oregon team, but has great wins over number 2 overall Michigan, number 13 overall Michigan State. That's why they are on that 6 line. That last spot on the 6 line is kind of a revolving door. If Kentucky, my top 7 seed, beats Vanderbilt on Saturday, there's a chance they can move up if Wisconsin takes another loss on the West Coast versus Washington. The rest of the 7 line, Villanova, who as I said welcomes St. John's to town. There's kind of a tier in the tier list in the Big East. It's kind of UConn, St. John's, and then everybody else. So can Villanova prove that they are a team that is good enough to be among that top tier in a year in the Big East that they've just all been bad? It's been a bad league. They're only gonna have 3 teams in the NCAA tournament, unless a team in a week and a half goes to Madison Square Garden. That's not among that top group, Villanova, UConn, and St. John's, that goes to the Big East tournament and wins it. NC State and St. Louis, who St. Louis lost in midweek too. So not very strong 7 line this week. Miami, Iowa, UCF and Utah State, who lost to San Diego State this week, are among the 8 seeds, and then Clemson, who if they can beat Louisville at home, get their first win in 6 games, they could be back in play for an 8 seed. SMU, St. Mary's, and Georgia make up the 9 line. But I will say that the bottom of the bracket. Look at Auburn; they're out. I don't see them making the tournament. At this point, they have a pretty tough schedule to finish. Finish the year with Alabama next weekend. Texas played Florida tough. They're probably in at this moment. Look at Indiana. They're probably out after losing to Northwestern in the midweek. Ohio State, they face Purdue on Sunday. Like I said, a win for them over the Boilermakers would get them back in conversations there. I would say they're out right now. So that's kind of the bubble conversation going on right now. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's been Carter from CBH Sports, and I'm signing out. Peace.